Welcome back. We're about to get everything started here in like 2-3 minutes. Wrap the call. We're gonna lead off our keynote. Thank you.
And I live this year. I relied on others to tell me who I was.
You did a lot of
myself.
You did a lot?
All right. Who's feeling lucky in the house today? Our favorite part of the weekend, the annual raffle. So, does everybody got their tickets in? Everybody ready? Ife, you got everybody's tickets? So, as you can hear, when death came knocking on my door 3 times, when death came knocking on my door 3 times, oh my God. I'm about to tell you, thank you for asking. So, our very first prize is going to come with a beautiful announcement. If you recall, we said that we had a surprise album release for the after party tonight. And so you are the first in the world to hear and know that our surprise artist is none other than our own Iyalode Yeyefini. And you are listening to Obatala, some beautiful house rhythms for Obatala. She's got the CDs over there. World premiere. Y'all are the first ones who will get your hands on this music. So please support Iyalode. And please come out tonight for the after party. If you ain't got your tickets, see our attendants at the front so that you can hear her perform live and all of that. So, Ife, my darling, you still collecting from folks? Are we good? Everybody put them in, tear them apart, put your names on them, tear them apart. Last call in 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And so also our live stream viewers should know one of you will receive a digital download code for the album as well. So you're not getting left out. So make sure to check your email within the next few days when the live stream winners will be announced. Let's see. Please. You, my sister, Camille, is that your name? Yes, you. Yes, please come. She was looking like, oh, I'm sorry, that's not you. Celeste, I'm sorry. Disease. So I called you up because traditionally we have a child draw the raffle tickets. You're the only child that we have in the room right now. It's with me. Evangeline will help us to draw the raffles. So those are yours. Okay, so maybe stick them somewhere. Just, put them to the side. All right. So we're gonna shake it up. And the first prize, a copy of this brand new music that nobody else in the world has, is going to Oyawande Efundayo. Oyawande Ekundayo. Where are you? Going once. All right, you gotta be here to win now. Where y'all at? Going twice. Oh, do you know where she? All right, somebody let her know. All right, well, we'll excuse her since she went, but I'll keep that up there. So let her know that she won. Yay! Let's cheer. All right, our next. Oh, what did I do with the list? Thank you. Y'all keep me right. Keep me right. All right. Our next prize. Oh my gosh. We got all kind of stuff going on. So our next prize is from the God Box Foundation. If y'all have not been to their table, I need each and every one of you to visit the table before you leave. This is the only Afrocentric interfaith organization in the country, probably on the planet, right? And many of you, I do a lot of interfaith work, and I have, as you probably can imagine, it's always, Christianity, Islam, a little bit, Judaism, very heavy, not a lot of Black representation a lot of the times. This group is dedicated to bringing us all together as people of African descent across religious lines. And so it's wonderful. And one of the things that they're doing that the ADRSA is working with them on is a pilgrimage to Ghana this summer. You are all invited, and they are one of the prizes that's being given is a trip package. Okay, let me tell you what you will do for that, because we're not going to draw that right now, right? Here's what you will have to do for that. If you know that you can go and you decide you want to go, you will make a deposit. Out of those people who make deposits, one person will get their trip for free. So commit. Be about it. If you're about it, make your deposit, and you could end up getting your trip for free. And for now, what we will draw here is our sister Danielle, who is one of our God Box. Raise your hand, sister. She makes beautiful handmade jewelry, and she has gifted us a handcrafted jewelry set which is a necklace and earring set made from beads of recycled glass from the Krobo people of Ghana, as well as batik cow bones representing good fortune. Oh, do we have this stuff up here? Oh, yeah, bring it on, let them see, let them salivate a little bit. And also, live stream people, there is a choker that you will get. One of the live stream folks will get the choker. Yeah, bring everything up here so we can show it, please, as we announce. Can y'all help them out? Just, okay. You good? These is my students, y'all. Give them a hand. This is the Ashe Ire Akeko Circle. Students in the house, we are so grateful for their help. So the little bag with the jewelry. All right, so let's see. This is gorgeous, y'all. I almost didn't even raffle it. I got my hands on these first, and I was like, that's for me. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? So these are handmade glass beads and earrings, and they will be going to, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. And our baby Evangeline is helping us to pick. And
Arielle Crook.
Arielle Crook, come on down. I shall. Oh wait, no, we can. Yeah, I just didn't want to mix it with the other one. Hey, and she is one of our fabulous presenters you're gonna hear from this afternoon. Blessings, darling. Congratulations. Let's give her a hand. Come on now. Give her a hand. All right. Now from Big Shorts Films, raise your hands. Iyaz over here. We have a DVD film of The Studio, which is a love story with an Orisha twist, and also The Studio t-shirt. So that will be going to shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. And our baby Evangeline says,
Luis, and I'm sorry, I can't.
Laguerre? I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Luis Laguerre?
Oh,
he's okay. Well, come on up and get it for him. Yeah, all right. We clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. We'll let you get it for him if he's here. Ashe, Ashe. Beautiful film. The film is also on Amazon Prime, so please support and go on and get you a download. Those of you who, you're still winners, you're all winners, but you didn't win that prize. All right. Next we have a handmade colorful clutch by Agino Sweet Things, Sister Sharifa. And if I recall correctly, these are one of the lined ones that's lined inside with the, so it's waterproof inside, y'all. Y'all ain't even ready for that. So whatever you got to put in there, that might be, your makeups and the things and stuff is beautiful, handmade. She hand makes all these things. Please visit her and check her out. And the winner is for this. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Baby Evangeline says.
Brianna Johnson.
Brianna Johnson. Woo, woo, woo. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. And two more. One, the gem, we have a gemstone bracelet from Jewels by Man. Oh, I think, did he have to leave? Oh, okay, he had to go. But y'all can shop with him online. Those of you who win beautiful, beautiful, all natural stones. And the winner of this is, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Baby Evangeline says.
M. Lee.
M. Lee. Hey, congratulations, Baba. And look at that. Fit for a king. Ashe. Yes, yes. And last, but never least, in fact, I would say this is power. If you know to know to know to know, you know you want this. This is a beautiful collage art candle inspired for healing by Nawali from the Community Book Center. So please support the Community Book Center. And let's see who will win this beautiful candle. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Baby Evangeline.
Ainde Madimoyo.
Ainde Madimoyo. All right. See, that presentation gave you some luck, brother. You was calling on them Nkisi's and them orientations and all of that. And look at that. Ah, yeah, come get that. Come get that. Right. Drip me some money oil on there for you light it up. Get your life, brother. Get your life. All right, let's give a hand to all the winners and all the vendors. And we have a little present for baby Evangeline too later for her assistance. Oh, she kicks see? That's she hi baby. That's good you was up here. I got some baby juju because we working on getting it popping. All right. So, oh yes, who was the Oya one day Ekundayo? Have they come back? Okay. Oh, okay. So just hold on to that and you can. All right. Thank you so very, very, very much. We are going to, oh, sorry. All right, now the moment. Oh, I know we've been waiting for all the moments because we just having so much fun together. Are y'all having a great time? Okay, that sounded real weak. Are y'all having a great time? Yes, I'm happy. And did you enjoy the lunch? Okay, good. That was vegan chef Nola. She's very well known around here for her wonderful cooking, her wonderful service, and we're just so grateful to have had her here with us. We are going to, Sadio. We are so pleased, so pleased and honored to have with us today as our keynote speaker, His Royal Majesty Oba Adejuigbe Adefunmi II, who began his destiny on earth December 21st, 1976. He was born the 14th child of 22 children to His Royal Highness Oba Adefunmi I and the third child of 5 born to Iya Eshu Ogo Oyewole. King Adejuigbe Adefunmi II was raised in the kingdom of Oyotunji African village and began drumming at the age of 7. He was an extraordinary listener and an attentive history student and became entrenched in the traditions and cultures of the ancestors under the leadership of his father. By the time of his graduation from the Yoruba Royal Academy, King Adejuigbe was an initiate, of several sacred Egbes, to name a few: the Egbe Egungun, Egbe Obatala, Egbe Onilu Ayan, and Egbe Akinkonju. Not the least of which would be his entrance into the Igbodu, the Society of the Fathers of Mystery in the worship of Orunmila. Traveling throughout the United States and Caribbean in the entourage of his father, he reflects, "It was an amazing opportunity to observe my Baba in all of the commands and demands of being a king. I also observed through his service to Africans in America and the undertaking of spiritual responsibilities to the tribal family within the village and the toll it took on him. As a young man, King Adejuigbe followed his first love of drumming, touring nationally and internationally, performing reggae and African music, playing alongside notables such as the Wailers, Inner Circle, Freddie McGregor, Junior Gong Marley, India Ari, and others. King Adejuigbe became the King of Oyotunji on July 3rd, 2005, thus continuing a legacy of Yoruba kings in America that has been confirmed and supported by the Oni of Ile-Ife and thousands of Yoruba Americans who came to celebrate the royal coronation. Following the coronation, he traveled to Ile-Ife and was crowned by the Oni of Ife, just as his father had been in 1981. And so it is our great, great, great honor to now welcome His Royal Majesty Adejuigbe Adefunmi II. Please join me in welcoming him. Please rise.
Hello. Everybody's so quiet. Mami Joko, please be seated. Ekabo. Ekabo. Sí. Ìlú New Orleans, ìlú darúgbó nípa ìṣẹ̀dálẹ̀ Yorùbá, ìlú darúgbó ní ìsìn gbogbo wọn ọmọ Odùduwà nínú Amẹ́ríkà. Ẹ káàsán gbogbo ènìyàn, lórúkọ mi ní Ọba. Ẹ káàsán gbogbo ẹ káàsán. When I say ẹ káàsán, you say ẹ káàsán back. Ẹ káàsán. Ẹ káàsán. Ẹ káàsán. Ẹ káàsán. Lórúkọ mi ní Oba Adejuigbe Oyewole Adefunmi from Oyotunji, Yoruba village ní ìlú South Carolina, nínú America. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. You. That's good. We greet you in the name of our ancestors. We greet you in the name of our progenitors, our pioneers. We greet you in the name of those people who saw it fit to sacrifice their lives so that we can be here today. So it is imperative that we always speak in language of our ancestors first. You agree?
Yes.
That no matter what, that should come first, because that is our language. Just like the English people will speak English before anything else. We traveled here today to share with you our experience as it pertains to the few years that we've been involved in African culture here in North America, primarily stemming from Oyotunji village in South Carolina. I'm going to just cut to chase and say that the culture of the Yoruba people in North America has sprawled. No matter where you go, you're going to find this intricate culture of our ancestors. But first, before I cut to the chase, let me give some recognition to my Yeye sitting here, Yeye Fini, my Yeye Temi. In so many ways, in Yoruba culture, in the village concept, a Yeye can be 5 different types of Yeyes. Okay, a Yeye is a mother. You can have a mother Orisha, mother natal, mother compound, mother wife, mother, in many different levels. And we're going to get into that. So how long do we have, Iya? 20 minutes. Ooh, we have to crunch it. Okay, wonderful. So the Yoruba culture has sprawled throughout the United States. No matter where you go, you're going to find people who practice in some way, shape, form, or fashion the culture of the Yoruba-speaking people of southwestern Nigeria. And while it seemed to have just seemingly came out of the ground to many, at least to Europeans, it had humble beginnings here in North America. And those humble beginnings, the major effort in those humble beginnings to reestablish the culture of African people in North America was made by people such as yourselves. And we and you are just a continuation of those people who begin. We get the opportunity to travel around quite a bit in the last 14, 15 years as the Oba here in North America. However, it's been beautiful to travel, but we over time have seen how the concept of the village has seemingly been sidestepped, or for some reason it is not the foundation of our quote-unquote cultural spiritual communities. And so to understand spirit and to understand village is to understand the marriage necessary for a community to exist. So you have spirit and you have, you have village, which creates spirit. And so I guess around in the late 1960s, a small group of African Americans led by Oba Adejuigbe Adefunmi I decided that they would go and tap into this village spirit concept. And so they decided to leave Harlem, New York. And I would always tell my dad, I said, why did y'all leave, man? Y'all should have stayed. You know, we could have had like houses and stuff, you know, and like cars and stuff, you know, as opposed we had dirt, mosquitoes and trees and things like that, you know. So they did leave. They left Harlem, came south to investigate what this village spirit connection is. And interestingly enough, they found themselves in a cultural bastion, in a historical bastion, in a bastion of wealth of spirit, a bastion of wealth of pain, a bastion of wealth of energy. And we call that bastion the Gullah Geechee Nation. Are you familiar? The Gullah Geechee people of South Carolina. There you're going to find, as I call it, the big box, whereby 70% of all Africans who were imported into North America or stolen, kidnapped, and brought here came through the port of Charleston, between Savannah and Charleston. And interestingly enough, Oyotunji lies right smack dab in the middle of all of this history, so thick that you could cut it with a knife. And so it's clear, and we make a point to let everyone know that they could have put that little village anywhere in the world or in the United States. And I believe they started to put it in Mount Vernon, but it was too cold. And so they moved south and didn't choose this land. The land chose them. And interestingly enough, as I've done the historical digging in the area, not literally, however, I found out how important a place is where people come to find their culture in the same land, the same swamp, the same rice field, the same plantation where they lost their culture. The irony is huge there. And so Oyotunji has always been an enigmatic part of the emerging South as it began to emerge. And so in leaving New York, what they left behind was the concept of inclusiveness or exclusiveness, and then opened the doors for inclusiveness in this African movement. And so our African culture movement in North America has beginnings that are based on inclusion, that are based on community, that are based on the studying, celebrating the talents of each individual in that community, and utilizing each individual's talents in that community for the greater good of the whole. Maybe you didn't have a lot of money, but you had the opportunity to barter and share. And so it became clear that this was something that, as we say, as we travel around, we see it's missing in our communities. And so we often like to travel and see the village concept as we travel. So if we go to Miami, we look to see the village concept, schools, elders council, people who are responsible for men, women's society, men, women who are responsible for women, men who are responsible for men, the Society of the Ancestors, the Society of Builders, the plasterers, the plumbers, the electricians, all of the people who contribute to the community. Because when we travel around, we hear lots of times that, well, we're not together. We don't have a community, or my house don't deal with this house, or I don't deal with that house. And I always tell people I'm the wrong people to talk about that too, because been there, done that a long time ago. Division, it's a dead end street. You can everyone has a problem with something in life, or someone or something. That doesn't mean that you don't operate with it. Many people have problems with their automobile, but they still invest thousands of dollars to try to get it back on the road once again. And so you can do the same thing with your organizations. And so our elders taught us that when they decided that they were going to go and wield African traditional cultural self-determination. Now, when I say wield it, I mean wield it because they didn't just go and do this. They went and put it on national television, national media, national newspapers, magazines. Some of the largest platforms in America hosted the vision of these cultural pioneers, and it hosted them from Time Magazine to Newsweek Magazine, Oprah Winfrey, obviously, Tom Schneider, To Tell the Truth, I said Newsweek, USA Today, The Observer. And then you had publications like Ebony, Jet Magazine. Then you had other publications like Flash of the Spirit. You had Lifetime Channel, you had PM Magazine, you had the Travel Channel, you had the Viceland Channel, you had also, you had Phil Donahue, you had so many more. And so these cultural pioneers sought to put this African culture on a platform that did not just include a small band of people in the woods, but wanted the nation and the world to know that these are African descendants and they do have a history, and here it is. And what's important about that move, that particular move, is that today, even you know, and we know at that tiny African village that people come daily from all over the world, scrambling, looking to have some type of a snapshot as it pertains to their traditional culture, who they are, and where they come from. And our charge as priests and priestesses of our tradition is to have viable programs, viable settings. We have to have institutions that can support these people, because they're not coming, as we said at Oyotunji, or our history there is we've had tons of smart people, let me say that, but you're not going to get the people who seemingly are well off to do. You know, is like rich people don't go and buy a farm, right? Because you don't make no money at buying a farm, but you have happiness. And so the people who you think would be like the doctors, the lawyers, all of the people who would have the wherewithal, who would have all of the credentials and things to help carry such a project forward, do not come forward, because that's not our mission. Our mission are those people who do not have it, the people who do not have money for initiation, the people who got 5 baby daddies or got 5 children, or she's a man who needs a place to stay, who has talents but never had a platform to exhibit it. And so this is what we mean by our cultural communities have to reflect our humble beginnings more. Our humble beginnings had a lot to do with community, community, sharing, caring, giving. And back in the days in Oyotunji, if you couldn't afford initiation, then you contributed something to the community to receive it. Maybe 2-year scholarship of work at the Shango Temple got you initiated and made as a priestess. So many people have done that. And so these humble beginnings for us in this time are necessary, because there's a lot of pain in people, not just from the past, just walk out the door today. And it's tough in every city where you find our people, and they're coming to us in droves. I was just in Atlanta last week, and a young man began to speak in terms of his historical beginning, and he was about 5 generations removed from the founders of this particular culture in North America, but he too could see it and feel it. And I looked at him, I said, you know, you're a derivative of a derivative of a derivative. You come from a great source, and look at you now. While you may not be the orthodox traditional Yoruba that we may be used to back in the day, you still are a child of Africa who have decided that they're going to go after their culture. And while your pants may not fit your waistline totally, we still respect you in that regard. We can't throw you away. And so we begin to meet all these sorts of different walks of life that come into the Yoruba tradition, whether they are orthodox, or whether they're weekenders, or whether they're people who just want to wear any leke. There's room for everybody, wouldn't you agree? Okay. And so our ancestors taught us that, because in the village concept, there's one for all and all for one. Families are taught to share and enlarge themselves by taking in other members, wards, people who need help. I take in people all the time. While it's not an easy task, you get a reward. Isn't that the whole story of Jesus? Is it Jesus? Which one of those is it? But you take in people, you look out for them, and give them what they need. And our culture, if this African culture in North America can reflect on our humble beginnings of the village concept and pull that off in our inner cities, then we would be the people our people will come to. Because at Oyotunji, or any village, you can go to the king and get something out of them, whether it's money for gas, a ride to town, or you could get expedient work done on your project that you may have on your compound. But most of our people can't do that in North America. You don't have a community that you can go to, or a leader in the community you can go to and actually get something. Because most of us we don't own the property, which means you go through the landlord, and the landlord's a whole rigmarole. You can't go directly to the chief of, was this Tekrema? Or would you have here in New Orleans, the 9th Ward? There's no black chief of the 9th Ward, you know, that you can go to and get much of anything from. And that's consistent across the country. But we Yoruba practitioners have an up on understanding the concepts of what our people need in our communities. The Yoruba culture has always provided that. And not just the Yoruba culture, African culture, period, provides that. It provides living for each individual. And I'm mentioning this village and community concept because it's the wave of the future. It's where we go next. We can find God on every corner. You know, God's everywhere. I believe in God's in everything, everything that radiates. This lottery ticket probably didn't win, but it's got God in it, you know? You know? So we can find it everywhere, and to see that, or goddess, and to see that means that we take it from the esoteric and bring it into the tangible for people. They say, man, you know them Yoruba people, you know, they talk about spirit, but, you know, they got some pretty cool programs that bring it all home for you. And, you know, you got things like a home that you could borrow, use, or buy. You got things like if something break in the house, you got your own crew of plumbers, own crew of electricians, masons, people to come in and care for the compound or the house. Then you can develop children who can then learn the culture. But I always said, and I believe, that if we continue as a people to merely focus, and not to say that this is what we're doing as a whole, but to find those enclaves that are merely just focusing on a reach to change Jesus black, or a reach to just try to find something spiritual to believe in without really living no spirit, it's a dead end. We'll just become another religion like Christianity and Islam and the book religions that tell you to read a book or go and pray and go meditate. Well, meditate definitely, but have some action behind that meditation. Pray definitely, but have some action in a community of spirit behind that prayer. Otherwise, it goes nowhere. Black people have been praying for a while, and what we lack is that spirit of community that used to be there. I know back there in Golagichilana, I could find them. All I got to do is walk down the street. I see people out there doing all kind of stuff. Yeah, barbecue. People out there making block, building house. Most people ain't got no money to build a house out there, so they get their brother, uncle to come and build them. You see, and so the village concept is still there, and I believe that if we could push that forward and preach that more, then we would have a much larger impact and a much more larger foundation and playing field to play with. Because if you could reenact the village concept in each community, then now what you have a political power base. You could vote, because I tell people I vote Republican just to make them mad, because black people think if you say Democrat, you're actually winning. And I let them know you're not winning, because we don't have no base. But the Yoruba community is one of the only groups of African-based traditions that are growing really fast that could do just that, create local political establishments that have a platform on the ground in their local areas. And so the Yoruba could be here in New Orleans with a platform that they know, this candidate know that if he get the Yoruba, he need the Yoruba on his side, basically. He can't win without him. And the reason we vote, we get our people to vote for him, is because we're going to get something changed for us. That's how everybody do it, right? That's how it's done. The Jewish people, the Chinese people, everybody. So when we go out and vote, we're just scattered voters. That's why they dismantle us and break us over here, tell us reparations, anything to get your vote. Just the blacks are just, knock them over the head for their vote once again. And if this continues, but the Yoruba community, the African spiritual ATR community rather, can be at the forefront if we adopt the African village concept, so that spirit once again can enter our interhuman relationships, our business relationships. A lot of us are scared to give each other credit, right? But our ancestors didn't mind giving a person credit only for them to default on their credit, and that was okay. I know that's strange to the city people, because you say, how am I ever going to be successful? But it's a spirit that's involved in what we do, a spirit of contentment, being content with your own self inside your own skin by giving. I found this out. I found this to be the case by in the last 14 years at Oyotunji, because when I first became the king, I was out the gate like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. The first night I couldn't even sleep, because so many things I saw, visions of the possibilities. And you can have the wood, you can have the nails, you can have the 2x4s, you can have the paint, you can have the hoes, the shovels, the gloves, and the tools. You can even have the people, but without the spirit, it doesn't go far at all. It doesn't go anywhere. And that is really what broke us in our journey on our destiny at one point, of course. You got to get broken. I have horses, and I know you got to break a horse before you can get on his back and ride him. So after we were broken, we found out, okay, the biggest thing is getting people to understand, because most of us have been so indoctrinated with Western culture that it's difficult for us to even understand African concepts without first saying, oh man, I ain't gonna do that.
Right.
I always tell people, when you say I ain't gonna do that, that's how you know it's work. That's how you know it's an African concept.
Right.
Because your European thing won't let you do it. It won't let you even see it or understand it. And so it becomes imperative then for those people who come to us that we, as the elders now, have to be able to meet them where they are, work with them where they are, help them to understand what's needed. Because I get a chance to work with a lot of cool people, hip hoppers, young people, mostly young people who are disenchanted with America. They don't like nothing that has to do with nothing. They like that African thing, but they don't want to do it too much because they don't want too much discipline yet. But they want to be around it, and it's colorful. And that's a good thing. And we see that as a positive change in young people. So the words we have is from the lab is that the young people we've been working with are really, really, really disenchanted with America. They're hurt inside because no one gave them a platform to develop their talents. And so now most of their talents have to do with, you know what, the dark side.
Right.
You know, they have good talents in mathematics, let's say.
Right.
And so we found that to work with people and to find a common ground amongst the community, whether it's clothing, whether it's carving, whether it's toy making, but it has to be some sort of industry that keeps the people together. Because at Oyotunji, I noticed you can have all of the spirit and all of the, you know, all of the trappings of the esoteric world, but without things like money, things tend to not work so well. And so we have to encourage people to then become entrepreneurs. To be a Yoruba, to be an African is to be an entrepreneur firstly. You see, so when we travel to Africa, you see people making windows. I never seen Black American boys making windows over here on the side of the road, or making blocks, or fashioning 2x4s from rounded wood. You never really get to see that over here in North America like that. But to see that and to know that is to know that that's our cultural mission. That's what the Yoruba culture found. The first, I think one of the first things they opened in New York was the Ujama market. That's a market. They was trying to make money first. And so trade, business, and skill has to be a serious part of the dialogue we teach to people when they come for a reading. Or if you come in for a dafa or anything. I know if people come to me, first thing I tell them is, you know, okay, you looking for God? See that shovel? Come on, I'm gonna show you God. Just a minute. Just a minute. Because a lot of times we're taught that spirituality is going to save us, but community, the spirit of community, is what we've come to find out that helps to save us. We read a book recently by Sobonfu Some, and it was shocking because I was told a lot of times in North America, hey man, y'all leave that daggone village thing alone. It's too much. This is America, and get modern, and this is what we need, and get modern, get modern is America, all that type of talk. But that book, when I read it, helped me to confirm within myself and feel comfortable in my skin what I was taught by my elders. Because America constantly make you think what you was taught was wrong if you don't think like they think, basically. And so that book confirmed for me that the whole concept of a big family is necessary. The concept of having elders who you can wake up at any time of night, you see, any time of night, and they have to perform their duty to the community. You have a council of men who work with men, a council of women who work with women. You know, but nowadays you say, you get all the women together, I ain't working with her. You know, we're still there, you see. And that's in almost every traditional Yoruba, cultural, African, ATR, Ethiopian, Orthodox, whatever I've been involved or been a part of, that's still there. And it's going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. But the way we deal with it, through the traditional channels, and then we repair and continue. We know it's African when we do that. I know people don't like to forgive no more, but that's a very African, traditional, Yoruba, African, however you want, Al-Kabulan, Kemetic, Orthodox, Ethiopian thing to do, is to forgive, repair, and keep pushing. It's a very African thing to do. And so the village concept. I was supposed to come talk about Oyotunji, but I thought if I give you just talk about bullet points of Oyotunji, but like, well, in 1970 they did this, and then they did this, and then they did that. That's online. If you go to our online, you can find all the little historical videos and things. You can read books, papers, and documents. What I try to get us to do these days is articulate the history, the mission, and the vision, and inspire people with it. You know, get people to build, get people to get land, start gardens, learn organic gardening, learn aquaponics, all of these things, because that's the circle of Ifa. Then you channel it through the religion too. That's the upon Ifa, the circle of life. And when I compost, that's what I tell people. I compost. Take the vegetable, I eat it, compost it, bring it back. The worms get it, turn it into something. I plant it again, a new plant, and it goes again. The circle of life. And so, please let me know how I'm doing on time so I can know how to strategize my exit. 5 minutes? Ooh. Okay, let's strategize. Okay.
You got it, Oba.
I'm phoning yeah now. Our elders left us a legacy. They left a serious legacy. One that has not been matched in North America to this day. I know we don't have the helicopters to prove it and like the limos and things to really flash it off so you can really get it, but it's there. You have a language, you have a dress style that that was bequeathed onto you. You have etiquettes, you have different customs, you have values, you have marriage types. Different marriage types, you have death rites that you perform for yourselves. I mean, this is real historical stuff, man. And I love I call them the PhD people. Kamari, Ia, and Tucker, Tracy Hucks, and all of the others who are in the big buildings, I call them the big universities, who are out there pushing the platform of African culture. Not just pushing a platform of African culture, but keeping it on a level. You know that song, On a Level? On the level, that song, because you have to keep it on the level, because that is the only reason why back at Oyotunji we can stand up and be like, what? When they come talking, and then we can drop a few references and things like that, because that works in the Oyimbo's world. And so we need each other. We have to work together. Call us out, His Majesty out to your events. I don't necessarily like to talk long, but I like to talk strong and get straight to the point. I like to teach and tell young men how to get with it, you know, because nobody's doing that. Nobody's talking to the young men. Well, there's a few people doing it, but in terms of in the Yoruba culture, we notice that there are ways to reach young men that we could utilize to reach young men. And I say young men and not young women is because the young men, it's like an attack on young men. Everywhere you go, it's like they all want to kill each other. And I've seen a few just in my little world. You think I live in like Mayberry, you know, but I've seen several murders just in the last year or two. That's just bizarre. You know, it leads you to think, wow, can this African thing stop that?
Right.
Can it help that?
Right.
Is it possible to interject it into that? Right. Yes, it is. And so we enjoy young men coming to Oyotunji for rites of passage. We enjoy young women coming for rites of passage. We enjoy seeing young people in Atlanta join different elays and households, and they're moving chairs and tables, learning the intricate parts of working in the community. We get to see young women performing their tasks and duties in various temples throughout the United States. And these things are not being publicized, okay, to us. We don't know what each other are doing in our respective neighborhoods, and we can do better. We've got tons of media. You got all of these phones and things. We need newspapers. We need tabloids. We need all of our culture is going to need it, because we have to put the message out there. While it can be dangerous to have a media, it's necessary to have a strong media that can push our message. Anywhere the Oba is going, it's in there. Where in the world is Yeye Fini? You know, this is what we do. Where's the Baba? What is he doing? This school, that school, a media base. And it's not hard to produce at this point. I used to do it, but I don't have time. It's a huge task, because we have to get our message out. And while if we do not get our message out, then people are going to pick up on anything in the street. And you say, well, why are the people, you know, wearing ileke all over their head and on their shoes and everywhere? They didn't get the memo. They didn't get the memo, you see? And so we have to get the memos out. We need that strong media base. You can check us out at Inside Oyotunji on YouTube. It's not just about Oyotunji. As we travel, we film things like this, take pictures and interview people and talk about the cultural restoration movement throughout the United States. And we still, at the little small African village, enjoy hosting different groups of people. Universities still show up. Schools, daily. People are coming looking for some type of spiritual something. They want a reading. They want to talk about something. They've been juju, especially if they're from Charleston. If you come to visit from Charleston, I know you've been worked. They work rude in Charleston, especially the ladies. They come daily for some sort of spiritual enlightenment, some sort of guidance. You know, they want a reading, or they want a naming ceremony. They just want something. They want to sit down and talk a lot of times. I can almost guarantee you right now, the phone rang about 10 times since I've talked, and about 5 people showed up, 3 for readings and 2 for a tour. And the tour means you come to learn about, you know, you saw it on TV or you drove past the sign and you come to learn about something African for a day to get a snapshot. All amongst ramshackle little buildings, little temples with cracks in them, paint's chipping, you know, the roads a little bumpy, you know, amongst all of that. But we continue. And we continue with the help of the ancestors. We continue with the help of the ancestors. with the ancestors and our people. American people still build Oyotunji. We hadn't sold out and took any government anything yet. They be trying to get you, you know, with the little local thing. Start with your little local $100, $200 grants, and then it's $500, then it's $1,000 and $5,000. STEM and all those other sorts of programs. But we can do that ourselves. We do not need them. We have you people. We have you lovely people. I know it's hard to put back people to say, well, let me give another black person $1. But at Oyotunji, it's the only place where you can actually see it. You can go and see it. And then if you don't believe that we're doing it, then we'll put it on national television for you. How about that? I'm talking big now. You know, we wish to create guest houses. We wish to create compounds. We wish to create campgrounds. We wish to create spaces where African-American people can come and retreat and get away. Because sure, it's clear that white people are doing it all around us. They have all these little small plantations where they come, they shoot, they hunt. They might even, they hunt foxes now, but you know what they used to hunt back in the day on the plantations. They come, they have weddings, they have all sorts of wonderful things, all in the name of the Queen, you know, of England, and the British culture and the French culture. And they have toasts, and they line up around the corner to view their little historical sites in Charleston, where one place is ridiculous. They just go to see a teacup the way one lady left it. Never been moved. She was an important lady in Charleston. They line up around the corner to see this. They were like $25. We throw a festival at the village. We say, okay, $10 a person. Why I gotta pay? Why I gotta pay, man? The culture's supposed to be free. Give me my culture. It's like, man, the building costs money. The 2x4s, the electricity, all this is costing, you know, it adds up after a while. Right. And so it becomes clear that we have to see and mimic how the Oyinbo do with their culture. Do the same thing with our culture. We need to, all of the products that go with our culture, all of the dashikis, we can push off an African Memorial Day where we all sell dashikis. We make them, not the ones from China. We make them here in North America. If you got 200 million African Americans, 200 million dashikis have to be made. 200 million times what you're gonna sell them for? 10, 15 bucks? Do the math. And so this is what's necessary. In our communities and at Oyotunji, we implore you to continue to investigate your ancestral culture and find out how it can work for you in your locale. Come to Oyotunji, visit me. Yes, that's the last selling point. Please come and help us out. We need your help, because every day people come. They don't know that we all be fighting and stuff, okay? They don't know that. All they see is what you said about this African thing in America, how it's supposed to be for black people. So they want to see it come up, right? I mean, somebody told you so, you be like, yo, show it to me, dog. You know, but if they can't show it to you, Then you say, well, are you charlatans, or do you really believe in this thing? You know, and then they'll say something like this. Well, I've seen the Mormons, what they do. Yeah, I don't want to hear the Mormons, you know, we got our own thing. And so we appeal to our own people to help us pull off our own thing. As I said, the schools, the tourism industry, the food industry, the clothing industry. We have the space, we have the land, we got the wherewithal, and we got the best spot.
Sure.
Because South Carolina is, like, I know y'all don't want to believe it, the New Yorkers, but it's #1 on the East Coast in terms of development, in terms of people moving in. Bluffton, South Carolina is the #1 city in America for retirees. Then you got Hilton Head, then you got where the Oyotunji village is. And it won't be long before you come to Oyotunji village, and they're gonna have a German village out there, then they're gonna have all these little things out there, and we're gonna feel left out. And so it's the same way in every state, right? So let's jump on it now. Let's get the bull by the horns, as my Yalosha told me a long time ago, huh? They get the bull by the horns, doggone it. And so we must do that and continue to work with each other, for each other, and about each other. Oda, Adupwe, we give thanks for having us here today, Funlayo, and all of our distinguished elders in the room, all of our babas, all of our yeyes, great mothers, great fathers, the babalawos, the iyanifas, the aworos, the egbe gungun. All of you contribute to the fabric of this great cloth. Alafia.
All right, I think we can do better than that for our Oba, who has come with the charge to continue building the village. As we said, that message is so important. The spirit is not enough, right? As we see in all of our African spiritual systems, spirit works through us, people. As Teresa Washington stood here and turned it out last year and said, we are the gods, right? We become our gods. They come into our bodies. That means that we have the way to do what we need to do. So thank you so much, Oba. We appreciate you. Yes, please. Ashe, ashe. And yes, please visit Oyotunji, support the project. There should be, in all the time that we've been doing this, there should be 10, 15 Oyotunjis by now. And the fact that there is not speaks to what we've been talking about, right? We gotta build, we have to build the trades, the skills, all of these things. This is how we become free. Because if we wearing the clothes and doing all that, but still operating within the system, guess what? That ain't really freedom. At the end of the day, when they decide to switch it off, like Erykah Badu said, they could, you know, turn around and push delete tomorrow. And then what do we have? But Oyotunji will still be there. They push delete tomorrow, they'll still be there, right? Because they know how to sow and grow and build and all the things that we have lost. And so we're just so grateful to have Oba here with us today and for that beautiful message. And we pray that we all take it with us. So we're just going to take a 5-minute break, right? 5 minutes, gonna visit the vendors for a moment, and I'm going to call the panelists for the next panel. So Greer, Mendy, Professor Verda, Harris-Olayinka, and Arielle Crook. Please come to the front. Everybody else, 5 minutes, and we're gonna come right back. Thank you.
Video? Yeah. What do you want me to do? Video? Yeah, it's not playing on this place.
No, but I don't know. She will send this to me. What does that mean?
This is a link, the permanent web address.
Yeah,
So when you press this, it should take you to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So what does that mean?
Yeah, and this should take you to exactly what it is. So now this says you could download it for $10 or yeah, this is the same as the CD. This is the CD, and you you could buy it. Download the content and get the CD. Yeah, it looks like you press it, you want CD, if you want to download it. Like they gave me one to download, I got the CD. So they press it. They have to log in. They have to log in. That's, I was not going to see that's click on it. You can either buy in the track for 99 cents. It's about yeah, usually you probably have to log in.
So yeah.
Yeah, you can copy that, and then put it in when you need to be. And then when I go to your site and I click that same hyperlink, I'm gonna go check that same thing out. You will download.
Oh, turquoise. So she's one. I know, and just Arielle. Okay, right here. And here's another.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sister with the pepper jacket. I just want to make sure that who I was. And okay, and then oh, is that? Oh, that must, yeah, I do. Okay, I do. I never. Okay. I think this with the blue
You might ask them to log in and all that.
you like me. I'm like, okay, you know, you said you're dancing, so you know what? Yeah, it's like, so we get three.
Not create that point, and then you can buy it. And then you have your payment information to be on file.
No, Donna was
Like the launch, yeah, we know it's simple. Like you go through like.
I don't think it'll go that long.
No, that's like the password.
Yeah, that's the password.
You don't want to people, right? You can make the website above.
No, but I'm trying to say.
Oh, you, yeah. You use your password. Yeah, that's what yeah. You hold it for a while. You can later another thing on your phone. And go when you log in.
Oh, okay. I think it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Log into our site.
Oh. Now it's like what you said, I can go to all the platforms and get it. Yeah, let me check. I can check how they know how to put this on. I have SoundCloud. SoundCloud one of the meetings. You know, the one that let's get this now, all the different platforms. Try to do a search. Right up here, that's what I don't know how quick you'll run. Is This is Sanfado. Sanfado. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
I have it on my phone. No, I don't have it on my phone.
Well, go back to the email. So you're supposed to complete the purpose and it was used. So after a day, they'll pop up part of the search. Yeah, they're saying you're going to need the hyperlink to go in now. But after a day, if you want to see the search, the search will pop up. After 24 hours. So you can log in. Yeah, you can. Once it's on your website, until 3 months back, you have to put the hyperlink. After that, you can use the search.
So then it says, the album shall appear in normal search results and you will be able to
that's after the first 24 hours. Yeah. So I'm saying like 24 hours from now,
so all I have to do now is tell the young man that handles my website
to go ahead and do that. Yeah. And make sure if you want people to get it today, he has to put the hyperlink so they can go through all of it. After a day, just the search will pop up. And they'll send him the hyperlink to the same copy and paste. Send him
that's what I'm going to send.
Because that's what he needs.
Okay.
All right, we're going to be getting started again in about 2 minutes, so wrap up your transactions, please, and begin returning to your seats.
So, but it's not. seen it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And then, still, and it's just an everything
All right, let us return to our seats. And we are going to welcome our next panel, which is Cultural Claims and Applied Healing Philosophies. And our first speaker is going to be Ms. Greer Mendy, who is going to talk to us about claiming Marie Laveau and what freedom comes from being able to make that claim. So please welcome her warmly. Please welcome her warmly. Thank you. This is the second time I'm starting a presentation with this piece. The piece I'm about to do actually has nothing to do with this presentation, but it actually has everything to do with this presentation. So please come with me. And one time somebody asked me to dance, and it was a room full of women. So I had to do this piece. So still, come with me. Written in the linings of my skin are the names of my mothers, my biological mother and the woman who raised me, mother. Next to their names are my grandmothers, my mère and grandma. And next to their names are their mothers and their mothers and their mothers, until finally, permanently etched in the nucleus of my membranes is the name of our mother, who perhaps only remembered her mother's smile. But I believe it was that mother who said, "Hold on, let go, move fast, walk slow, stand tall, be brave, hush now, forget the dumb stuff,
I've always been told I'm too thin-skinned. I cry easily. Perhaps it's because these mothers in my skin are pulling me back to know them as they know me. They have held me. They have waited for me. They love me. They have waited for my prayers in Kikongo. They have waited for my sacrifices as a Yoruba. They have waited for me to open the door and prepare the way as a Fula, to stand tall with God as she did, refusing to be a coward, surviving a watery grave, outliving a brutal beating, and refusing to die until giving us birth. These mothers, they sit on my lawn, cross-legged. We are waiting to know her name. Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau. I'm going to talk a little bit. Marie Laveau, I'm from New Orleans, born and raised in that lower, not the ninth ward, the lower ninth ward, right? Born, raised, and capably educated in the lower ninth ward. Everyone in New Orleans, Marie Laveau, this is what we're going to tell you. Oh, I don't believe in all that stuff. Marie Laveau, I don't fool with that, all them, and that, that ain't me, My family, we don't do all that, we Catholic. Am I lying? But even in those words, it's an acknowledgement of her energy.
That's right. We don't do
that she is there. We don't do all that. And we do all this and we say all this with no thought. We just do it. I ask you now, when you think about New Orleans and you think about the images, we're going to leave Marie Laveau out of it right now. You think about the images. A couple of things come to mind. Carnival. I call it carnival. That's what I grew up with, carnival. After 65 or whatever, it became Mardi Gras. And so you think of the beads, the gold and the purple, and people throwing it, hey, throw me something, and the ladies in the French quarters raising up their shirts. And you think of maybe people dancing in the street, and you think of those beignets. They're really good little breads, and we do something that's like most of our food. It's not good for you. They fill it up with powdered sugar. And that's what you think about when you think about New Orleans. But if you think about a person, except for maybe Louis Armstrong, what will come to mind is Marie Laveau, even if we don't have a solid image of her. Because if you go to the internet, there are all kinds of images of Marie Laveau. Some of them, most of them don't make sense. And while you're here, you're going to hear a lot of things in New Orleans. And if you think about it, it's nice. It's a nice little romance. I'll get to it, but it doesn't make sense. There's one picture of supposedly Marie Laveau that's passed around as her image in 18-something. And doesn't make sense because if she died 10 years later, this is at 90, this is a picture of a woman maybe in her 40s. But okay, she looked good. We do that, black don't crack. All right. But we know her, and we know her, and we know the good and we know the bad of her. We know that she was Marie Laveau. We know that she was one of us. We know that she was beautiful. We know that she wore her head tied and she was a Black woman. And we know the bad. She practiced that voodoo stuff. I was baptized at Mount blah, 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 blah church. Okay. And so in her myth, in what we know of her, we say things about her, those of us who are intellectuals, to seek some type of maybe intellectual validation, right? And it's okay. And we regurgitate statements that are not true. And it's part of the myth that we do in New Orleans, We do that. I'm from here too. I'm gonna tell you things that might not be true. It's all right. But my sister attorney is out there, so I'm not going to do that. But we place Marie Laveau in Congo Square, right? And we place her doing rituals in Congo Square and dancing in Congo Square. Well, let me see. Different people went there. Everybody. She was a free woman of color. Maybe she didn't want to go there. Class, okay, it's all right. We have her coming from Haiti. Oh, we love that, New Orleans, Haiti. I go to Haiti every year. I pack a suitcase, I leave something, and then sometimes I go to a Hotel Olafson and I party, right? Let's, you know,
Right
somebody
now.
say, yeah, let's whatever. So, but she wasn't from Haiti. And I'm still confused and trying to figure out why we are validating our history through Haiti. And again, I like Haiti. But when we get to Marie Laveau, we want to look at her genealogy and why we claim her and why she is so dear in our heart. We know you're going to miss some things, but you're not going to miss, oh, that's where Marie Laveau was buried? To the point where the Archdiocese had to shut down the cemetery where she was buried because everybody was going there, leaving things, leaving money, marking her grave, really destroying it, right? Everybody was doing that. So getting to her genealogy, but before I do that, this is what I want you to do. I want you to remove certain aspects. First, I want you to remove the notion of Haiti. She wasn't from Haiti. The birth records, the Catholics did really good in keeping records. She was not born in Haiti, number one. She did not bring voodoo here from Haiti, number two. Africans were here for what? Before the Haitian Revolution. Okay, so unless you want to say that we had to wait in New Orleans until the Haitians came from Haiti after the last revolution, not series, in 1809, because it was a 12, 14-year-old deal that happened, right, before it was free. But we were here, I'm not even talking about being here on our own, but colonized. How long before that? And how long before people who came here, not the enslaved, but the people who settled in New Orleans were basically the urban Haitians, the people who didn't want to be under a Black ruler, right? Who didn't want to be with the program of freedom and revolution. And we are led to believe that these same people came here and hopped around in Congo Square with the enslaved Africans, taught the rest of us voodoo, because we didn't know, we were waiting for the Haitians. The other thing I want you to remove from her genealogy is the notion of Indians, because we have Indians here. We have Indians here, and they're called Mardi Gras Indians, and that's fine. I want you to remove that because maybe we should associate those Indians with a Congolese tradition and not a Native American tradition as we may think of Hollywood or whatever, because there's certain things we haven't done in our myth and in our myth, not legend, because I can take legend, in our myth, because we haven't reconciled how are we Indians in New Orleans, and on the same day, on Carnival Day, we're Indians. We're paying homage to our ancestors, the Indians, and we're Buffalo Soldiers too. See, we haven't figured that out. Oh, I got 5 minutes, gotta hurry up. So the other thing we haven't done is, how did the Indians own us? Haven't figured that out. And we also have to figure out how did, let's see, we're part of the Seminoles. This is Louisiana, Seminoles, Florida. Okay, so the other thing we haven't figured out is, I don't know about you. We all know that Black people were the first people on earth. And by the time we migrated and went up and went through the DNA change, so by the time we got down here, the Africans and the Native Americans that we know of here, even if we built pyramids here first, it's not the same people. They just don't look alike. Okay, so that's the thing we have to do. But let me do this. Marie Laveau, her great-grandmother was Marguerite. Archival records say she was African, a negress. Didn't have a last name, she was owned by the Rocher family. She had a child named Catherine with another Black man, luckily. She was part of the family, the Rocher family, they owned her. Catherine had 2 children while she was in the Rocher family. They were called mulattoes, so some white man. Okay, we didn't have a genteel system of slavery in Louisiana. Get that out your head. So she was enslaved, her mulatto children were enslaved. They sold Catherine. She took her child, but they kept the little girl until the little girl was 16 or 15. So Catherine was sold 3 times past the original owner, all by white people. And then she had another mulatto children, no daddy, blah, blah, blah. The 4th owner was to a black woman. Because she was owned by the black woman allowed her to buy her freedom. So we're thinking these people, Marguerite, remember, African, Catherine, African, right? So now she has these children, and she has a daughter, another daughter named Marguerite, because we name our children after ourselves. Marguerite now is with the white man. She's a Placide. Marguerite did what she had to do. She had 2 children by this white man. Marie Laveau was by a black man from New Orleans. Okay, so here we go. So let's do this. Hoodoo and voodoo, you're gonna hear that too. There's 2 different systems. Hoodoo is from the Congolese purview, right? And using Menkisi. In English, charms or talismans. The purpose of hoodoo is primarily to confront, then start or stop an energy, particularly evil or wrong. The practice of hoodoo might be thought of to be acts of protection. Marie Laveau was never known to practice hoodoo. It was voodoo. But why voodoo? Let's just get to it. I got 3 minutes now, probably. Marie Laveau was feared as a force of change. She was sought for counsel because she could provide directives of action, particularly to those in power, white people. She was also sought after for matters of prosperity and love. But her most admirable characteristic was her reputation as a healer of those infected with malaria and yellow fever. And she was recognized as an herbal healer and spiritual worker. She helped people escape, but she was a free woman of color because remember, her grandmother bought her freedom, so Marie's mother, Marguerite, was free. And that's what free people of color did. We bought enslaved people too. Sometimes it was just to free them. Sometimes it was to allow them to purchase their freedom. So moving right along, I probably have 1 minute. Marie was the product of her mother's survival and her mother's mother's survival, who were black women. Marie was held in high esteem by black people despite actively engaging in the slave trade because she also helped enslaved peoples, but more importantly because she was a protector and a nurturer of humanity, and she punished evil. My favorite story is one of them people that came off the boats from Haiti, and it's all in records. All you have to do is go to the archives. This is a black man, him and another white man from Haiti went into a shop. They murdered a young lady. They were stealing. They're in jail. Marie goes to pray for them. She prayed for prisoners. The next day, these men died. They're dead. They say it was Marie Laveau. I don't know. So, but they killed a 15-year-old enslaved girl. So, you know, Marie, I mean, I got to do what I got to do. But Marie simply did her work. Marie Laveau, in the forgotten language of African spirituality, our DNA doesn't change. I started with the poem about the mothers because she was raised by her grandmother because her mother died. But Marie Laveau is Benin's Dan and Man. She's the Kingdom of Benin's Olokun. She's the Congo's Shula and Centella. She's Nigeria's Oshun and Oya. Our hard look back reveals that while Marie Laveau did not dismantle antebellum Louisiana's agenda as a slave society, she did empower Black people to hold high the Black woman. Her traditional African spiritual practices gave Marie and other Black women power in a male-dominated society. Though Marie Laveau came to be known as a source of spiritual inspiration, for us, that spiritual inspiration was mysterious, but not dark. Spiritual, but not Christianity. African, but not foreign. This is why Marie Laveau is our voodoo queen.
Y'all know I love that. One more time for our sister Greer. Yes, we getting free now. We're freeing ourselves from misconceptions too. That's another thing we freeing ourselves from. So thank you for that. Yes. Your editor? Oh yes, yes. And excuse me, please. Please, no, don't sit down, don't sit down. Y'all gotta give a hand and a wonderful recognition. This is our featured artist, Naja Young. So this beautiful image that you've been seeing gracing all of our conference materials is her photograph. She has prints of her photographs, which are all beautiful. She has films. She teaches film writing, screenwriting, if you all are interested in that. So please do support her. And thank you so much for being here and for sharing your gorgeous work with us. Thank you. We are now going to keep moving. This is the one I talked about earlier. This is Ori Worship and Care for Well-Being and Collective Liberation. And we are going to welcome Professor Verda Harris-Olayinka, who's going to give us the lowdown on how to get these Oris right, y'all. Come on, Iya. Blessings and welcome at Cabo.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank ADRSA, African and Diasporic Religious Studies Association, for inviting me and for to share this information. Okay, thank you. It is important for us as priests and priestesses to provide traditional religious followers with subtle keys to enhance their prosperity. The realities of Ori impact our daily lives with, among, and between each other. The following presentation is a power tool for everyday people to enhance their individual, family, and community well-being. Yes. As we collectively work together to save ourselves. That's right. Ori worship and care for well-being and collective liberation. In the philosophy of Ephiism, there are 4 basic aspects of Ori. We've got Orima, the unmanifest, the creation close to Olodumare, close to God. There's Ipon Ori, the higher self or the soul who lives in heaven. Ori Inu is the inner soul plus the mind, the spirit and the mind that come together that allow us to do what we do. Ori Ode is the conscious mind, how we interact every day with one another and with ourselves. Ori is the spiritual counterpart of more than the head. A lot of people believe Ori is the head. Ori is part of the head, but it's not totally the head. There are several procedures that happen in the traditional communities. One is feeding the Ori in the Yoruba community, where a rogation is performed by initiated priests and priestesses for their devotees. Ori is a deity for you and only you that you nurture in life. Only in life can you nurture your Ori. We can pray to Ori to manifest only your ethical goals and aspirations. You can't pray to Ori to do harm to someone else, or to harm a community, or to do anything that is negative to an ethical aspiration. Orisha Ori may be given in ceremony determined by divination. Worshiping and caring for the Ori is for everyday people. You don't have to not be initiated or this is a big secret. This is a secret of something that changed with Western religion. It hasn't come through to us. So this is what these concepts are about. One is Oye, is understanding. Increases knowledge, which is Imo, that provides Obom, wisdom, to consciously manifest individual and collective ability to operationalize this subtle power in our lifetimes. Fela Showande, let's see, presented us with 5 stages of awareness, which is linked to Ori. This came from an unpublished manuscript back in 1986. That was when you could hardly get anything about Yoruba in English. So everyone was grabbing at information. And so this came through the 3rd Orisha Conference presented by Dr. Bowling, who was an MD. The first stage of awareness is having no feelings or consciousness or awareness towards what you know and understand about or read. You know nothing. Second stage involves active participation in the religious life of the traditional community. It could be Akan, it could be any of the traditional communities. Ebo Ori is a rogation. One can, everyday people again, can anoint their head with water. Water here, going back to the center of the head. Okay, that's all it is. To clear your own Ori. Don't get angry, get some water. Let me do this. Okay, now let's talk. Asheo. Okay, to calm and relax yourself. And Ifa and Yoruba, Ifa and Orisha divination connects the self with the alignment of a person's destiny to keep the Ori on track to the purpose they are walking this planet Earth. Stage 4, here we go. Stage 4 is ceremonies. A newborn, those of us who have babies, can receive Ikose Daye from their Ifa priests, Iyanifas, to get a peek into the newborn's destiny, to give that newborn, the parents of the newborn, a way to bring the child through life and certain expectations and abodes and preventive behaviors for them to come to full adulthood. Orisha and Ifa initiations are a considerable advance in preparation for stage 5. Stage 5 in awareness, the physical head is absorbed with the spiritual head. The Apari Inu, the internal spiritual head, merges with the Ori Apere, an individual's personal deity manifested by their own lifetime, your own lifetime of the accumulation of choices and actions of their own volition that has, at this point, determined their destiny. We choose. That's how we protect and honor our Ori. The lifetime of accumulation of choices and actions involve Iwa, which is character, knowledge of one's actions One's actions has an effect on one's soul. Everything we do impacts on our soul. Eshe are the legs. Individuals will have to support and guide themselves to make the right choices to defeat Ojiji, which is the shadow. We each have to defeat the Ojiji in our lives. The negative aspect of consciousness. Ojiji could be substance abuse, substance use, insecurity, or doubt manifested by emotions of hate, jealousy, envy, fear, anger, frustration, etc. There are many that impact on our negative emotions, preventing our own Ori cultivation. Ori relates to a person's soul. Ori links to a person's destiny. And Ori links to a person's relationship to God and the universe. Caring for Ori enhances individual, family, and community well-being. Ashe, cultivate power, personal power, and self-control while interacting with Awon Ori of others. That's the plural. Awon Ori is everyone's Oris, but there's no Yoruba word for Oris with an S. Okay? To reinforce Ori throughout life, one can consciously activate Alunleyan, which is choice. They can activate Akunlegba, which is free will. They can activate Atumwa, which is the rebirth of character. Ori cultivation provides spiritual grounding for active engagement in the continued urgency for social transformation of African descendants living in America. It serves as a Sankofa model to go back so we can come forward. Go back to this very precious reality of Ori. Embracing and knowing and loving our Ori is important, okay? For assisting, coaching, enhancing, and enforcing everyday people to save ourselves. Working together for our collective liberation. We can stay on track and overcome obstacles. We can emerge into enlightenment using prayer and meditation. This is a prayer to Ori. I have some handouts I can give folks. Prayer to Ori. Bi Oba Adejuigbe. If you want to have money, Bere Lowo Ori Re. Inquire of your head. Bi Oba Adejuigbe. If you want to start trading, Bere Lowo Ori Re Wo. Inquire of your head. Bi Oba Makoleo. If you want to build a house, Bere Lowo Ori Re. Inquire of your head. Bi Oba Malaya O. If you want a relationship, Bere Lowo Ori Re Wo. Inquire of your head. Ori Mashe Pekunde. Inner spirit, please don't shut the gate. Lodo Re Nimimbo. It is you that I'm coming to. Waseye mi de re. Come and make my life prosperous. Ashe. Ori is compared with the jet propulsion on a space shuttle. I'll start at the top, at the bottom, similar to a rocket. That's my art. The Oriole drops his physical body in the propulsion smoke. Ori Inu lifts off, detached from your efforts, powered by the things you tried to do in your life, impacted by Iwa character, Eshe, your legs that walked you through your life, and Ojiji, overcoming the shadow. The spirit goes as far as it can go into space, and then Ipon Ori drops off. Then Orima at the top releases everything and merges with God. Visualize yourself as separation. Train your body into being one in the here and now, and being one in the here and now. The Ori shrinks and weakens each time we offend another in thought, word, and deed. It causes an inverse reaction to Ori development. Those who are spiritually aware will work to enhance the Ori by projecting Ori praise through positive action. Personal and group Ori development improves actualization by breaking the barriers that were set up to prevent our progress. I wrote, activating social solutions, essential keys to progress, to provide ideas for our people to save ourselves by working together with people they already know to change or remove social barriers. Knowing and understanding and applying the techniques in Ori worship and care immediately aid in our total liberation as we work together to save ourselves. There's another source that I've put on here. Part of it came from Ifa Path to Enlightenment, chapter 5, Ori. The source calling the Ori in Yoruba, Ori huu. Everyone say that. Ori huu. Again, Ori huu. Calling, that's calling your own Ori. Ori huu. It comes from Yoruba Lessons with Aderonke. That is a YouTube in which they also request donations, and they appreciate donations. But it's an amazing YouTube because Aderonke shares how precious and lovely and how we embrace this wonderful, wonderful reality that we have for ourselves that can assist in our total liberation. Thank you very much.
So remember, a little Omi, those of you, how many of you come on my prayer meditations on Sundays? All right. So if you have not done so, you can go to asheerave.com and get all the information. And every Sunday, I tell them, as you just said, Iya, that all you need is a little cool water. If you want to go wash, it's water you go use. If you want to cook soup, it's water you go use. So anything, just a little cool water on your Ori to cool yourself. You give thanks for that. You give thanks. No initiation necessary, no special training necessary. Just touch your head. Ori woo. Ori woo. Your Ori expand. A little cool water and you got it going on. So thank you. Thank you so, so much. Finally, for this panel, we have
applying Yoruba-based healing philosophies to examine health and social inequalities in the African diaspora in Latin America by Arielle Crook from Tulane University. Give her a hand.
All right. Thank you. And in the spirit of liberation and power, I am a firm believer in movement, and we've been sitting down way too long. So can everyone stand up for a quick second before I start?
Yes.
And can I lead like a 30-second stretch? Can we all put our arms together up top? Let's reach to the right. Let's reach to the left. All right. Twist it. Twist it. Take a deep inhale. Deep audible exhale. Check it out.
Yeah.
And that's it. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I would like to preface this conversation a little bit about how I arrived to my research question. I've been trained as a biology student up the street at Xavier University. I graduated last year. And I'm now pursuing my master's in Latin American Studies at Tulane. And one of the things that inspired this journey of learning was my travels to Latin America and the Caribbean, to Haiti, Cuba, Costa Rica, and other places. And with each experience, I learned that from my formal education at this prestigious university, there's this missing piece. Like there's this lack of intersexual work of our understanding of biological mechanisms and our ancestral healing knowledge, right? So that's why I'm here. So let's get into it. Due to historical marginalization, poverty, and other forms of institutional violence, Afro-descendants continue to be underserved and excluded from mainstream health services. They often do not receive adequate health care due to cultural barriers, insufficient attention from conventional health care providers, and poor planning on institutional levels. Due to high incidence of cultural incompetency, racial discrimination, and religious insensitivities that Afro-descendants experience, the conventional biomedical model does not sufficiently meet the needs of our communities. Conversely, Afro-descendants all around the world, but more specifically in my work, I'm realizing that we recognize our traditional methods of healing practices and rituals that employ the expertise of our elders, ancestral connections, and their knowledge of herbs and our philosophies of life. So today I'm offering a much needed paradigm shift in understanding and analyzing the current healthcare structures that fail to meet the needs of Afro-descendants across the region. I'm suggesting that this health system undergoes reevaluation through the lens of traditional Yoruba-based model of equilibrium, an attempt to fill the gaps, or at least generate conversation surrounding how these inequities are created and what we can do to change these things. So the traditional Yoruba healing philosophies are centered around community empowerment, fulfillment by seeking a life of balance, and dedication to one's higher self. So I'm speaking on the experiences and expertise of Afro-descendants and ritual practices of Yoruba-derived candomblé practices in Brazil as a case study. So given that the biomedical model does not holistically measure health, Afro-descendants face significant health challenges. More specifically, applying the Yoruba healing model of equilibrium can be used as a theoretical framework that exposes social inequities that exist in the current healthcare structure, which has the potential to shift and incite discourse surrounding the synchronization of healthcare practices with traditional knowledge and encourage integrative measures and modalities that best serve us. As the saying goes, your health is your wealth. And under careful consideration, this cliche statement actually holds a lot of weight, given that at the intersection of poverty and health, people who live in impoverished circumstances experience stressors that are linked to low standards of living and racism, and they struggle to meet their basic needs. There. Okay. Thank you. The concept of health inequity and social imbalance are complex, multidimensional. Oh, can I take like a 30-second?
And you know we have to do the work, you know we do it, and that's why it's hard on you. We all have to do the work.
Hey gang, you can get her out. I told you. All right. I know you all got it. So we're not playing up in here, right? And we're calling all of the energy. So we all send our love right now to cool our sister's spirit as she shares this heavy work with us. This is heavy, right? If it doesn't make you feel some kind of way about our people being mistreated, being killed, right? Dr. Boaz told us this morning about people being This is what we do. We take care of each other. This is family. It's all gravy. It's beautiful. It's good. We'll just take 5. We are so grateful for this information. I'll make sure that we share Sister Arielle's paper with everyone because we know she was coming with it and telling us about real things that need to happen. This knowledge has to be applied, people. We can't just sit and look cute. We can't just, I'm ready to cry, right? This is why I do this. This is why I do this. Because we have to make some changes. We have to really get free. Putting on clothes and beads doesn't get you free. It's making the real changes. It's really dealing with our spirituality. It is building communities. It is trusting each other and coming together. So I just give yourselves a hand for doing that today. Yes. And we'll take 5. We'll take 5 and just let the energy in the room. We'll take 5. Everybody get up and just, give a little stretch, move around, and we'll come back with our next panel in a few, okay? Just take a few moments. Hey, how you doing? I'm here. I always love it. I love being here. Yeah, at least one more. Greta. Oh, Greta.
Tulane?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to. We got snacks too. Milo and I was in here ever since. Got a postdoc here. Got one now at Barbara. Yeah. I had one. It's over.
Oh, okay. Like the room? Yes.
Y'all make sure you get a snack and some water. And some chips.
first got her, I was like, man, you're hiding this from me all my life. I'm gonna get myself a bottle of water.
You want me to bring it?
Yeah.